I never thought I'd be the kind of person to snoop through my husband's things, but there I was, standing in our bedroom, holding a small velvet box I'd just found in Mark's jacket pocket. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside was a necklace, beautiful, delicate, with a diamond pendant that sparkled even in the dim light. It wasn't for me. My birthday had passed months ago, and our anniversary wasn't for another 6 months. So, who was it for? My heart raced as the question echoed in my mind. Was Mark having an affair? Lately, I'd noticed changes in him. He'd been working late more often, coming home with that distant look in his eyes. When I tried to talk to him, he'd brush me off, saying he was tired or stressed. And then there was his phone. He'd become so secretive with it, always tilting the screen away from me or taking calls in another room. I wanted to believe it was just work, but deep down I knew something was wrong. That necklace was the first real clue, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. But there was something else gnawing at me, something I hadn't admitted to anyone. A few weeks earlier, I'd met Tom. He was a colleague from work, new to our department, and he was everything Mark hadn't been lately. Charming, attentive, and warm. We started having coffee together, then lunch. It was innocent at first, but I could feel the attraction growing. One day, as we sat in a cafe, our hands brushed, and I didn't pull away. The warmth of his touch sent a shiver through me. I knew it was wrong, but it felt good to be noticed, to be wanted. Mark and I had been married for 7 years, and somewhere along the way the spark had faded. He was always busy, always tired, and I was lonely. Tom made me feel alive again, but I loved Mark despite everything. So, one afternoon I made a choice. I told Tom we had to stop seeing each other outside of work. "I'm married," I said, my voice shaking. "I can't do this." He looked disappointed but nodded. "I understand, Sarah. I respect that." It hurt to walk away, but I knew it was the right thing. I wanted to save my marriage, to fix whatever had broken between Mark and me. That's why finding that necklace felt like a betrayal, not just of our vows, but of the sacrifice I had made. I needed to know the truth. Over the next few days, I watched Mark more closely. I noticed how he'd smile at his phone when he thought I wasn't looking, how he'd mention meetings that didn't add up. Then, one evening, I saw a text message from E. Just a heart emoji, but it was enough to make my stomach churn. I knew who E was, Emily, Mark's ex-girlfriend. She'd recently moved back to town, and he'd casually mentioned helping her settle in. I hadn't thought much of it then, but now it all clicked. I had to be sure. So, one night, when Mark said he was working late again, I followed him. I parked outside his office and waited, my heart pounding. When he left, I trailed behind. He didn't go to a client's office or a work dinner. He drove to a restaurant downtown. Through the window, I saw him sitting with Emily, their hands intertwined across the table. They were laughing, leaning in close, completely absorbed in each other. I felt like I was going to be sick, but I couldn't look away. After dinner, they walked out together and headed to a nearby hotel. That was it, the proof I needed. When Mark came home that night, I was waiting. He walked in, looking relaxed, like nothing was wrong. "Hey, babe," he said, tossing his keys on the table. "Sorry I'm late. Work was crazy." I couldn't hold it in anymore. "I know, Mark," I said, my voice trembling. "I know about Emily." His face went pale. "What are you talking about?" he stammered. "I saw you," I said. "At the restaurant, at the hotel. I saw everything." For a moment he tried to deny it, but then he crumbled. "Sarah, I'm so sorry. It was a mistake. I didn't mean for it to happen." Tears streamed down my face. "How long?" I asked. He hesitated. "A few months?" "A few months?" I echoed, the words cutting through me. "While I was here, trying to fix us, you were with her." He stepped toward me, but I backed away. "Please, Sarah, I love you. I'll end it. I'll do anything to make this right." But it was too late. I thought about all the nights I'd spent alone, wondering where he was while he was with her. And then I thought about Tom, how I'd almost crossed that line, but I didn't, because I believed in us. "I almost cheated too," I said quietly. His eyes widened in shock. "There was someone Someone who made me feel wanted, but I didn't go through with it. I chose you, Mark. I chose our marriage. He looked devastated. Sarah, But you didn't choose me, I interrupted. You chose her. The silence between us was deafening. I knew what I had to do. I couldn't stay in a marriage built on lies. I deserved better. I'm leaving, I said, grabbing my already packed bag from the closet. I need time to think, but I don't know if I can ever